Facing Out's an art project that I've been working on for the last couple of years really, and it's a project where I've been painting people who've had facial cancers and reconstructive surgery. Facing Out came about because I met one of the subjects when I was doing another project, Bernard Corey. He really inspired the project. He had just had his eye removed due to a facial cancer. The main aim of the project really is to offer something that's of use to the people who've had facial cancers, to bring them together as a group of portraiture subjects, as a group of people who've had a similar experience together, but also as a way to boost really their sense of self, because I think when people become cancer patients quite often they lose all those social markers that can make up a personality, that can really inform an identity, such as stopping working and losing hobbies, and perhaps the social group that goes with work falling away, and that can have quite an impact on people's mental health. I was really interested in working with the Maggie Centre because I had the same experience that everybody has when they walk into Maggie's, which is such an incredible space. It's beautifully designed, and the people who are here, whether that's the volunteers or the staff or the people who are centre visitors, are they're really welcoming. It's a very open space, very open in terms of what conversations happen here and the spaces that they happen in. To be in a space where people were coming in specifically to talk about cancers openly, this seemed to be the perfect place to be doing a project that was based around talking and sharing stories of other people's cancer experiences.
We're a cancer support charity. We provide free support to people affected by cancer and their family and friends. We try to direct that support towards the practical, emotional and social effects that cancer may be having on their life, and everything that we offer to people is always free. One of the things that Maggie Keswick-Jenks and her husband Charles Jenks, who is an architectural theorist, were very aware of is that buildings and architecture helps people feel better. At the start of this charity, and what's continued to be our ethos, is to have a building that's been deliberately designed with good health in mind within walking distance of where the clinical teams are treating the cancer, so that they're doing expert work in a very fast-paced way in an NHS environment. But what we are trying to address is the fact that people need more than medicine. What we want is for them to walk in and not feel that they have to present a letter or an appointment card. They just present themselves and walk into a homely environment and instantly feel welcomed. We all come from an oncology background. We're all experts in our different areas of providing oncology support, psychological support, as well as the sessional team who work with us to do things like yoga and the other things that we know help people feel better. When we were given the information about Facing Out, it fitted very much with our own philosophy to help empower people, to help people move on from having had cancer and cancer treatments. There are often lifelong effects to people physically and emotionally from cancer and the treatments that we give people. Life goes on when treatment ends, and that's very much our ethos, and that's what we are here to support people in doing. We work closely with the Whitworth. We display art here, which exposes people to the opportunity to see art that they may not otherwise see.
I've had a great relationship with the Whitworth for the last 10 or 12 years. The fact that the subjects were offered the opportunity to go into the Whitworth's stores and pick out pieces from their collections that spoke more about who they were and widened the story of their identity by which pieces they'd chosen really complemented what I was trying to do with my portraits.
This is fundamental to the way the Whitworth works. It's what I see as the core function of a museum or an art gallery, which is actually to take collections, to take art as an idea and put it to use in society. So it's not just sat here for its own sake, but we're actually using our collections and our public resources for social benefit. And in this case, we're talking in the realm of using art within the healthcare system and using art with other colleagues from the university, from the hospital, from Maggie Centre, who we have a long relationship with, and really trying to evolve this way of working with art that really starts to have an impact on people's lives in a genuine way.
I think Facing Out project is all about how patients feel, cope and live throughout and particularly after their cancer treatment, which often involves both surgery and radiotherapy, particularly surgery being a disfiguring factor that complicates their lives in terms of damaging their function, aesthetic appearance, which has long-term consequences on their social interactions. I feel that the project is also very valuable because it educates both patients and audience about new advances in cancer reconstructive surgery, which is something I'm very passionate about.
As a portrait painter, I was really interested in how being looked at changes when you've had a facial disfigurement, particularly one that's been acquired after a facial cancer. I think it's quite a defiant act when people become a portrait subject when they've had a facial disfigurement. It's kind of welcoming, come and look at me, but it's also, you know, think about me, think about what this means.
Go on then.
First one. Coventry will play. Right. Well, yeah, what would you like people to know about living with facial cancer and visible differences or disfigurement?
I'd like people to be more aware of how it feels for somebody with facial disfiguration, and that they don't keep staring. Sometimes it might be even nicer to say, I'm just interested in, you know, about what's happened to you. And then when you tell your story, I think people then will feel, oh my God, what he's been through, you know.
Yeah.
And then they might tell other people, you know, it's really horrible when people stare.
Yeah, have you had that quite a lot?
Well, not so much, really. People used to just say to me, what's wrong with your eye?
Yeah.
And I used to say, oh, I just had a melanoma. All right, okay, yeah.
So you didn't make a big deal of it, you just kind of brushed it aside, that's what I've had.
Yeah, that's
You've
what
asked
I've
a
had.
question.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was coming out of it positively.
Yeah.
And thinking about kids were the one. Do you get a lot from kids?
Yes. Yeah.
Who are natural?
Yeah.
Aren't they? I had a little grandson, he's about 5 at the time, and he was doing that.
Yeah.
He was quite natural.
Natural.
What's happened to your nose, Nige? Kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I kind of explained. Then apparently when it came to my birthday in November, his family were kind of talking about what should get me.
Yeah.
And he put something, a new nose? New nose for Nige. Okay. Just a very matter of fact. And kind of that's what it is.
Yeah.
And other people have said, I didn't put the gruesome pictures on my Facebook, but I just changed your Facebook because I had changed in a way.
Yes.
And it's interesting what you do with your profile. Do you keep that, like, do you keep the one when you're young, or do you keep the one when you had a nose, or that sort of thing? So I thought I'd change one that was sort of fairly ordinary, full-on sort of thing. But someone said it's like a battle scar or a badge of honour, almost, like you've been through it and you're out of it.
You're out of
and
it.
you tough it out.
That's
sort
exactly.
Of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go for the first one. This is a nice little short one. How important for you was the Maggie Centre to your recovery?
It wasn't so much a recovery, it was the beginning of the journey. It was a lifeline for me, Maggie's. Without it, I don't think I would be here.
That's fantastic for Maggie's.
How was it
It's
for
a
you?
fantastic compliment. Well, Maggie's came during my treatment. I was 6 years, well, probably 5 years into my cancer journey when I discovered Maggie's. And Maggie's came along at a good time for me because it was at a time when I was only offered palliative chemotherapy. And so I knew I needed to change my life in lots of ways, and Maggie's was part of that fulfilment of changing my life, and it fitted very nicely with lots of lifestyle changes that I was making. And I found that the atmosphere and the ambience it created here fitted very much with the lifestyle changes that I needed to make, and I'm happy to say that those lifestyle changes have so far been pretty productive. So yes, Maggie's came along at a great time for me.
What advice would you give to those who are facing a cancer diagnosis, and where did you seek support?
What advice? I believe facing a cancer diagnosis, try and look on the upside. It's not a death sentence, certainly not. And try and think of the good, believe it or not, that's going to come out of it. I know it's hard, but there will be. There'll be some positives. More positives than negatives will come out of it.
What advice would I give them to make their life easier? I think it's a very individual thing. I think it's very individual, and I think you have to just pick your own way. For me, it's something that was a gradual process. I started off with a few scars, and then a little bit of a loss of my nose, and then loss of my eye, and then sort of total loss of my nose, and then I've got a prosthetic. So I've almost, in 8 years, gone down a path of losing an awful lot, and now I'm actually probably looking more like I used to look than any time in the last 8 years. What do you think, Trudy?
I would advise people that they've got to grieve. They've got to have a grieving process.
Can you tell me how you felt when Lucy first asked you to sit for a portrait?
Yeah, it was quite interesting because I'd gone to Christie's and seen, for my normal treatment, seen the poster about the Facing Out conference. Thought, that's quite interesting because it might link in with some of the things I'm thinking about. Found the conference a really good day and fascinated by the portraits. And there was a sneaky sort of feeling that I was trying to suppress because it felt kind of a bit like egotistical. I thought, well, I wonder if she'll ask me, that kind of thing. So in that way, I kind of tried to suppress that in a way, thinking, why should she? But at lunchtime, when we were walking around, Lucy did come up to me and said, how would you feel about? And I just thought, oh yeah, please, kind of thing. Part of it is a very positive thing to say, it's interesting. And yeah, I think it felt quite special to be offered that chance, really.
Yeah.
And the way it's turned out has been fantastic because it's led to a lot of other things and the thinking that's going on.
Yeah.
Okay, Bernard, can you describe to me Maggie's Centre in 3 words?
3 words. No.
Inspiring, calming, and peaceful.
Yes. What would you like people to know about living with facial cancer and the disfigurement?
Sometimes a little bit awkward when people are staring, and not so much for me, but maybe my partner that notices it, because when I look at people, they might look away, but somebody might be looking at me while my partner's looking at them, and perhaps she probably finds that more upsetting, but I just think it's a natural curiosity that people have, where people have something different to the norm. I get round that sometimes. I do hide away, or I used to hide away by wearing a baseball cap and a cap or a hat, something to hide myself, sunglasses, etc. And when I can't do that, I sometimes think I'm David Beckham and everybody's looking at me, and that's the best way I can get down the street or get down the length of a room or something like that. Have you got anything to say about it, Trudy?
Yeah, I did. They were awful with me, especially the male people. They just stared at me. I suppose it was more the dressings at first. It was like, I did the ball wrong, love, have you? And went, ask me again and I'll tell you the truth. And some people say, you've been in a nasty car accident. And it's like, no, it's skin cancer. And then they just run away as though it's contagious. It was awful. I really had a really bad experience, especially when I went shopping. You know, half an hour shop took 2 hours because just people coming up to you. They just wanted to be bloody nosy. And it was none of the business, you know, but they come up to you and just say, oh, you all right? Yeah, fine.
I used to call the Tesco experience, which is when you're walking around the aisles and you find that people are walking round twice to come and have a look, or kids are pulling at their mum's skirts going, look at that, have you seen that, man? And actually, I don't mind that with children because, you know, that is children and that's how they learn. Yeah. And it's nice when the parents respond positively about that and use it as an educational opportunity.
How do you feel about having your portrait displayed in a public art gallery?
I don't care, I can't see it. No, I've seen it, like, obviously. And I'm absolutely over the moon with it.
Excellent. And how's that? Is that from the reactions from your family as well?
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, I never was, but the rest of my family was quite arty.
Okay.
I only came to art later on. I don't really like painting art, I mean any art.
How did you look through the Whitworth collection make you feel?
The Whitworth collection, well, Holly had researched a few things about me, so she knew that I was interested in cycling.
Yep.
And she knew that I'd got a couple of whippets, because Holly's got a whippet as well as Lucy has 2 whippets. There must be something in that. And she had already picked out 2 paintings that are set alongside my portraits, and they were fabulous pictures, and very. I felt quite an affinity with those pictures. The other picture that I selected was from the Whitworth collection, and when I pulled it out and looked at it, I realised it was something that was a very sensitive painting. And as a physiotherapist working with my hands all day, this painting with 6 hands and touching somebody's body was sort of gave it a very healing sort of feeling. So I was very much drawn to that picture, and I think every physiotherapist that sees that picture is going to have some affinity with that. And I think particularly touching my face and my scars and some areas where I haven't got sensation, I think that action of touching your skin is very soothing and very healing. How about you, Trudy?
Well, Lucy gave her a bit of an inkling of what I did paint at the Christie. So there was a lighthouse. Was the soldier there? Yeah, there was a soldier there. Yeah, it was a bit overwhelming because I really didn't know what I had to do and this, that and the other. The paintings that I've picked are the right paintings for me and how I felt at the time and how I feel now. just love just going in the archives, knowing that some people will never get to see what we got to see.
Yeah, it's great, wasn't it?
Absolutely. So the paintings are the right ones.
How do you feel this exhibition and the project could help others?
Thanks to the positivity. People, I mean, it's so weird. I tell you about the one I think I was doing the foreign radiation angel. You know, the one in the wheelchair.
Oh yeah.
When things were at rock bottom. And a 10-year-old came through the radiation doors with one leg and a bald head and went. And you think, what am I moaning about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What were your thoughts and feelings about having your portrait painted?
Enjoyment, knowing what other people would say and getting over the horrible things that I'd been through. Yeah, it was a nice experience actually. You know, people just coming up to me and went, hello, and like that. I don't know them. And, you know, especially when you was walking through the Christie, if people had come to Maggie's Centre and seen Lucy doing my portrait at the time, some people just come up to me, hello, and like that. Do I know you? And then you think, oh, Lucy's must be doing me painting, this, that and the other. Yeah, Andrew used to come over every 2 weeks, the girls from the art class, just to see how it was going on. Yeah, so it was good.
Nice, good.
And how was yours?
Yes, I enjoyed seeing the paintings evolve and seeing them progress and being able to compare the differences between the portraits that Lucy had done of me over that
was
period
good,
of time.
Yeah.
That was very interesting. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. Lots of people have been down to Maggie's, seen the portraits and come back to me and said, hey, I've seen your portrait, which is nice. And, you know, perhaps that number's going to increase when the Facing Out exhibition starts. So I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, I've enjoyed the experience of having my portrait being painted. Does that sound quite vain?
No, but we're allowed to, aren't we? We're different now, aren't we?
We are different, yeah.